I've not got a whole lot in my declutter pile yet. Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be the second video of my collection slash declutter, and today we're going to be discussing my highlight collection. I do have quite a few, and the reason I've chosen to do my highlights next is because they're kind of spilling out of one drawer, and I prefer to have my whole kind of collection of one type of item in one drawer, so for like neatness, I guess. So this is my drawer here for my acrylic storage, which is overflowing, and then I also have these glow kit piles, and then these are more like what are they called, like combination blush contour things like that, and then some single eyeshadows that I use as highlights as well. So let's just jump into the video and I will show you my entire collection and also which ones I'm gonna declutter. So let's go. So this is in no particular order at all. I'm just gonna pick it up and show you what I've got. So the first one here is the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in Iridescent Strobe Light. There's my room. And this is just a very, very subtle highlight. It's almost more of a face powder actually. When you put it on, it's just so subtle. And actually I do sometimes use this all over a matte foundation, just to give my face a bit more of a glow. So I'm going to definitely hold on to this because I love it to, like I say, brighten up matte foundations, but it's not a highlight per se. It doesn't give you any kind of blinding glow. Next up, I've got my Dandelion Twinkle. I added this to my collection in summertime when I went to Sephora in France, and this is what it looks like. And this is a really, really subtle shimmer highlight, almost more of a face powder in terms of you could just put it all over your face and it wouldn't look odd like you have tons of highlight all over your face. So I'm gonna keep a hold of it because it's very much like my Hourglass one, but in terms of if you like a strong highlight, I wouldn't recommend that one because it doesn't really do very much. Like this one I'm wearing is quite bright, but we'll get onto that. Next up, I have this little set that I got on Cult Beauty. This is like a mini, and it's the Becca Opal highlight, and this is what it looks like, little and mini. And then it also came with the liquid version. I don't tend to reach for this very often. It's quite, I don't know, I don't really love the liquid formula. I feel like it pulls the foundation off my face, and I find that the powder version is slightly too dark for me. And I always thought, oh, I might just use it as an eyeshadow, but I never have, so I'm going to declutter both of these. So where's that pile going to go? Over here. Next up, I have one that I hauled really recently in my Poundland and TK Maxx haul, which I will put up there. And this is the Topshop Chameleon highlighter, and this is in the shade Speed of Light. It is incredible to look at. Oh my goodness. Ooh! It's not the most pigmented highlighter, but it can be built up for sure, and I like using this with a wet brush and it really tends to shine. I really like this highlighter a lot. I don't know how much it cost me, like £5 or something, so I'm definitely going to hold on to that because I really like it. Next up are my 3 MUA highlights. I think I've got 3, maybe 4. No, yeah, I've got 3. So I have the shade Pink Shimmer, and I've really dug into that. This is Pearlescent Sheen, and hopefully you can see on camera it's kind of a pearl shift blue. And then probably my favorite one is Iridescent Gold, and it is just a really light champagne gold. Let me give you some swatches. Highlight does tend to look better over a base of foundation and things, but that's the swatches there. These only cost £3 at the drugstore. I think you can only get them in Superdrug, and these are phenomenal. I would highly recommend these. The one I don't reach for as much is this one, Pearlescent Sheen, just because it does have quite a blue tone, but it is nice as an eyeshadow, so I'm going to keep it for that reason. So I'm definitely keeping all 3. So next up, I've got a Colourpop highlighter, and this is in the shade Monster, and this is very well used and very well loved. This is a super pink tone. It's got a bit of glitter in it, just ignore it. It looks like this, and then swatched. Oh, it's just so pretty. I absolutely love using this on a brush, popping it on my cheeks and then using another pink highlight over top. It just makes it pop so much. These are gorgeous and I really wish I had more, but Colourpop is such a faff to get in the UK. And I probably would kind of chuck this out and just replace it with a new one, but because it's so hard to get, I'm going to keep it for now until I do like another Colourpop order, and then I will probably replace it. Next up is a really odd one, and I got it because at the time it was kind of being marketed, or people were saying it was really like the Pat McGrath ones, and this is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Strobe Balm, and this is in the shade Euphoria. This is quite an odd product though, like it feels so greasy. I don't know if you can see on it. It's got like a liquid buildup on it. It's just really odd, and I find that actually on top of foundation, because it feels like quite an oily product, I feel like it just breaks down your base. So I am going to declutter this. I don't like it at all. And I think that was like £5, when the highlighters are usually about £3. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get rid of that because I don't like it. But on the subject of Makeup Revolution, one of my favourite highlighters in the entire world, and this is my third one, is the Makeup Revolution Peach Lights highlight. This is stunning. It's like my favourite way of saying stunning. This is so bright, it's so vibrant, you can build it up. If you put this over a wet base or use a wet brush, it pops even more. It's so gorgeous, and I'm not getting rid of it at all because it's lovely. Next up is one that I was sent today in the post, and this is by Sampo Beauty, and this is called the Glow and Go highlight, and this is shade number 5, and this is like a pure gold almost pressed powder. This is actually what I'm wearing today. So I feel like it's almost more of a glow from within kind of powder. It really kind of melts into your skin and looks quite like it's coming out from your skin, you know what I mean. That's a swatch of it there. It's pretty blinding, to be honest. It's really pigmented and I really like it, and I think they've got 4 other shades, and I'm definitely going to go and purchase them all. So I'm not going to declutter it because I got it today and I really like it, and I want to give it more of a shot as well and just get my kind of final thoughts on it. Next, I have 2 of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Glows. These are in the shade Oyster and Perla. These are absolutely gorgeous. With these kind of liquid highlights, and I've got a few more to show you as well, I don't love them on top of my foundation unless you use a very light hand or a sponge. They can still be quite hard to blend in over your foundation without moving things around and still looking super blended. So my favourite way is to mix these with a matte foundation. So something like the, what is super matte? The Kat Von D foundation or the Urban Decay All Nighter. I love mixing it in with these, and then it just gets a really glowy base. And I'm not in focus, am I? So yeah, mix these in with foundations and it's absolutely stunning, or use it on top as well. Just be careful and make sure you can really blend it out. But I'm definitely keeping both of these I'm actually going to pass on Oyster just because it is slightly too dark for me, and I'm going to keep Perla because that's the lightest one and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, I am quite a ghost. I don't wear fake tan really, mostly just out of laziness. And Oyster would match me if I had tan, but no, I'm just going to keep Perla and I'm going to get rid of Oyster, but I'm going to give it to a nice home, obviously. Next up, in another liquid highlight, is the Maybelline Master Strobing Liquid. I really like this. I don't like it on top of foundation. I think it's horrible on top of foundation, to be honest. But if you really mix it into your foundation, it's really pretty. And this has definitely got a nice pink tone. I love pink tone highlights. I think they really suit me. So I'm going to keep it to keep mixing in with foundations on the days that I don't want to maybe use my more expensive ones and have a drugstore option. But I don't like it on top. I like it mixed. So take that as you will. Next up, I have a Makeup Forever Starlit Powder in the shade 02. I think this is actually a eyeshadow. But I tend to use it as a highlight, although it is very gold. Let me try and swatch it. It's super gold toned. I want to get a good swatch because it is really blinding. If you can see it there. These Starlit powders are absolutely stunning as highlights, and they're really gorgeous as eyeshadows too. In the inner corner, if you wet your brush, it'll blow you away. They're hard to work with and they're really messy just because of the pot, but I'm definitely going to keep a hold of this because it was quite expensive for how small it is, and I do really like it. Next up, an old classic. This is the MAC Strobe Cream. I think this was the one that was before they added the extra colours to the line, because this doesn't have a colour on it. I love my strobe cream for mixing with foundation, or if I don't wear any makeup at all, I like to put a bit of this on my skin and just bring a bit of life into it. This is gorgeous. I think it's not very expensive. I can't remember how much it is, but it's definitely worth it. If you like a good MAC product, if you like having a classic in your kit, get MAC Strobe Cream. It's absolutely stunning, and yeah, I'm definitely not getting rid of it. Next, I've got the Benefit What's Up. This is a cream highlighter, of course. On one side you've got a horrible little sponge that I don't recommend ever touching, and then on the other side you've got the Twist Up product. This is really nice. Benefit aren't known for doing blinding highlights. I've swatched it here. So it's not gonna blow your socks off if you like a blinding highlight, but it's a really nice base for any other highlight powders that you have that you want to make kind of more pop. I hate using that word so much, but if you really want to make maybe a powder product show up more, you can put What's Up underneath. I never reach for this, even though it was a present from my husband. He actually went to Benefit and chose it for me. I'm going to pass this on because I never pick it up and I've got a lot of other options, but I'll probably pass it on to my niece. She'll really like it. Next up, I have two more liquid ones, but they're a dupe of each other, and I'm really excited to show you because their price difference is insane. And it's the Iconic Illuminator, and this is in the shade Shine. This is gorgeous. It's Cull. Everyone knows what this is. It's beautiful. And the dupe for that one is the Barry M Liquid Chrome Highlighter Drops, and these are beautiful as well. I honestly feel like the formula is very similar, that the way they perform is really similar. Now the shades are slightly different, but honestly they're just stunning. Let me show you. So that is the Iconic and that is the Barry M, and they're both blinding. So yeah, like I said, the shades are slightly different, but for the fact that they perform pretty much exactly the same, if you don't have the budget for the Iconic, go for the Barry M because it's gorgeous, and they've got lots of different shades as well to choose from. I think this is around £30 and this is around £5, so yeah, I'm keeping both. Obviously I loved both, but that's a good dupe for you. Next up, I have 4 highlighters from Salazar Cosmetics, and these are 24 karat gold infused highlights. If I show you the bottom, you can see the colours, if I can get them. There we go. So there's like a pink, 2 bright golds, and then a champagne. I'm gonna keep Frosty Pink and Moonlit Opal. That's the ones I use most, so that's the pink and the light champagne. And I'm gonna pass on Gold Rush and Sun Queen because they're both very, very gold and they just do not match my skin tone at all. If you go onto Salazar Cosmetics Instagram, you can see how beautiful these are and how beautiful they swatch. I've done a few pictures wearing them. They are stunning. They're loose highlights, so they're like this with a little sieve. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I really, really would recommend these. Used wet, these are insane. Oh, I love them. So I'm going to keep these 2 and pass on those other 2. So moving more on to palettes that I have. The first up is the Sleek Solstice, and you can see how much I've used this and how much I've loved it. I am going to keep this until I'm able to go to Superdrug and replace it. This costs £10 from the drugstore and you get 4 shades. It also came with a brush that I obviously just threw away. But you can see these 2 shades have been destroyed. I don't really reach for the purple shade too much, although it's very pretty, and I very rarely use the cream, but for these 2 shades alone, £10 is a bargain because these are probably the most blinding highlights you can find at the drugstore, and I cannot recommend this enough. Honestly, go and get it. Next up, I have the palette that kind of started my YouTubing. I did a review. This was my very first video, was on this Lime Crime highlight palette, and I didn't give it a glowing review, and as such I was kicked off their PR list. This is what it looks like. I do still stick by my review of the palette. I think it's just not the best. I think they have very, very, very white bases to the powder, so it really stands out on your cheek, but not in a highlighting way, in a have you got baby powder on your face. But I'm keeping it because it is very special to me, because they were the first people that ever sent me PR, and although they don't anymore, I do kind of love it for the packaging and the fact that they kind of supported me when I was really tiny. And in terms of Lime Crime, I still love their liquid lipstick, so I'm not like poo-pooing the brand. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it, but I don't ever use it. So next up, we'll move on to my glow kits from ABH. The first one, and the first one I ever got from them, is the Gleam Glow Kit. This is very well loved, as you can see. The two top shades are Starburst and Crushed Pearl. That's the ones I've really hit pan on. These other two are just slightly too dark for my skin as highlights, but they're still absolutely gorgeous, and I actually do use them quite often as eyeshadows. Next up, I've got the Sun Dip Glow Kit, and this one is just realistically too dark for me. I don't think it's really showing up on camera. This is the lightest one. This is definitely the one I use most, and that is the shade Summer, but I can also use Moonstone as well. But the other two shades, Bronzed and Tourmaline, they're just too dark for my skin as highlights. That's them swatched there, so as you can see, I could never use those as highlights, but I can use them as eyeshadows. Next up, I have the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit, and this contains 6 shades. And again, I'm showing everything upside down. There we go. So you can see I've hit pan on this shade here, which is like the white. And the rest I do use. I don't really reach for this one too much because it's kind of a weird shade for my skin tone. This one as well, it's more of an eyeshadow covered in highlight. I really love this kit. The formula is definitely different to the kind of classic glow kits. Definitely more glittery, more textured, but I still think they're stunning on the skin. And I would recommend it, although again, I think you can't get your hands on it anymore. So I'm not going to declutter any of the ones I just mentioned. Next up from the same family are the Aurora and the Moonchild. I'll show you the Moonchild first. And you can see I have, again, used this to absolute death. Pink Heart is my favourite. From a practical level of actually using them, I probably just use these three the most. These three are too dark. Star, Purple Horseshoe and Blue Moon. The rest I do use quite regularly, and they're always quite nice as an inner corner highlight anyway, just for a pop of colour. So I'm not going to get rid of that. And then the next one is the Aurora, which is very interesting to look at. Again, I use this one here quite a lot. In this kit, there's again 3 or 4 shades that I love more than others. So Luna is stunning, Eclipse, Helia and Lyra are all beautiful. Spectra is the most beautiful purple shade, but whenever I use that as a highlight, I just look a bit muddy, so I like it as an eyeshadow. And then Orion is just like an intense blue, so again, as more of a kind of eyeshadow or inner corner highlight. But I'm not going to declutter that because it's always good to have different options if you do like really different makeup looks and you kind of want an odd highlight sometimes. And then last up is one that I did a full review on as well. I'll link it up in the cards. It's the Sugar Glow Kit, and this is the newest one and part of the Holiday 2017 collection. So I've obviously not had a chance to hit pan, but I have used these all so much. And if you want to see all the swatches, you can just watch that video that I've linked above, but gorgeous. So lastly, I'm going to talk about some kind of random ones that are kind of highlighty because they've got a highlighting element to them. So next up is a collection, highlight, blush and bronze. And this is what it looks like. So it contains 3 pans, obviously a bronzer, a blush and a highlight. I really like this kit. I love the bronzer. It's slightly too dark for me, so I just use a light hand. But in terms of the blush, it's more of a blush topper because it's quite shimmery, but it is very pretty. It's quite like Benefit Dandelion blush actually. And then the highlight I do really like. It's just a bit too subtle for me, so I don't keep this in my highlight drawer. I keep it more in my bronzing drawer because that's what I reach for most in the kit. But it's a really good kit. It's super good value. And if you need a good travel palette, that's a great one to have because it's got 3 bases covered. Next up, I'll show you my Naked Flushed palette, and this is in the shade Native. So you can see, again, it's got a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. Just focusing on the highlight in this palette, it is really pretty. It's a champagne color. It does what it says on the tin. I very rarely reach for the highlight in it, so again, this stays in my bronzer drawer because, yeah, the highlight's just not blinding or anything special, so I don't use it for that. And then almost last, I've got the Tarte Park Avenue Princess Kit. This contains obviously a bronzer slash contour, a blush and a highlight. I hate this highlight, it just does nothing. It's very sheer, and when you put it on your skin it's even more sheer. It does nothing, but this contour slash bronzer is stunning, and I also really love the blush. So again, I keep this in my bronzer drawer. Then I have the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Duo, which looks like this. This is in the shade 01 and it looks something like that. This highlight is probably the most beautiful highlight in the world. I can't even describe it when it's on the skin. It's this beautiful kind of champagne pink tone, and the way it catches the light is just gorgeous. Oh, I love it. The bronzer is very orange toned, so I can't really use that as a bronzer, but the highlight in this is stunning, and it is worth the price tag alone just for the highlight, trust me. Gorgeous. Last but not least, very last one. I've not decluttered much. Okay. So last but certainly not least, I've got the Collection Speedy Highlighter Stick. This is again like a gel cream stick highlight. Obviously it's very much like the Benefit What's Up. I would say it's a dupe. I would say go and buy this one instead of the What's Up if that's what you're looking for, a stick highlight. It's gorgeous actually. The other day when I used it for the first time, I kind of drew it loosely all over my face and then buffed it in with a brush, and I just had the most gorgeous like glow from within sheen. When I put my foundation over the top, it just made everything a bit more dewy and pretty. So I highly recommend this actually, and it's so cheap. Maybe like $2.99 or $3.99. So yeah, that's gorgeous and I will recommend, and I will not declutter. So in terms of what I'm decluttering 2 of the Sarah Cosmetic loose highlights just because they're too dark for me. Again, it's too dark for me, the Eloise Blushing Get Glowed. I'm getting rid of Benefit What's Up just because, What's Up? Just because I really don't reach for it, and I have lots of other ones that I prefer, including the Collection one, so I'm going to pass this on. Getting rid of the Becca Opal Set because, again, too dark for me, just doesn't work. As with the Anastasia Oyster shade, I'm going to pass this on as well because it doesn't work for me. And then lastly, the only product that was a total fail and a dud is the Revolution Strobe Balm. That's just pants, so I'm going to pass that on or bin it. So that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick one. I hope when I come to edit it's quick. Telling myself in the future, make it quick. Please let me know if you want to see my lipstick collection and declutter, because I have a lot of lipsticks. I've got this little tower here of liquid lipsticks, and then I've got 1, 2, 5 drawers of lipsticks and liquid lipsticks. My battery's flashing, so I need to go. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, give this video a like, leave a comment, tell me what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I wonder if this would work for my skin tone. Just give it a try. No, that's too gold.